Welcome back, guys. It's Kibler from the Brothers Geek Out podcast on an exciting episode. So, with further introductions, how can I do this? Because I'm actually quite emotional to get you guys on. It's quite amazing. So, Miss Marvel debuted just over 6 weeks ago, and on episode 3, we have these wonderful guests, Tanwir, Rahim, and Ashwin from Brown Jovi.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys? How are you guys?
We are doing fine. Thanks for having us.
No, you're welcome. Yeah. You're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome. In between the show, my daughter may be walking because I'm multitasking. As a father, I work. Perfect. I work at the same time and do a podcast while my daughter runs around crazy. But don't let that distract you guys. I first want to start off with Tanwir, and hopefully I pronounced that right. Is it Tanwir?
Well, there's multiple variations, and
okay, go for it.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
The real pronunciation is Tanvir.
Tanvir. Okay.
Tanvir. But it's, I also go by Tanweer, and some people call me Tanweerd. Some people, Tan at work, I go by Tan. So I mean, yeah, Tanvir. It's all good, man. It's all good.
No, that's good. And we have Rahim on the line as well. How's it going, dude? And we've got Ashwin as well.
And so Neeraj might be joining, but he's playing, and he's our percussionist, and so
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You told me there's 7 of you, right?
7 of us. Yes, that's 7 of us.
How did you guys all get together? Where was the inception in Brown Jovi?
Well, actually the thing is that we are even outside of Brown Jovi, we get together and we perform, right? So we're not. Let's just say, I mean, it'd be sad to some listeners, but we're not always Brown Jovi. We're also, we're also, Bollywood fusion and a bunch of other stuff, right? So we're not always, performing as Brown Jovi. But we're all music lovers, and we're all, Atlantans.
Yep.
Except for Sancheth, who's now moved to Seattle, so he's 3 hours back, and he's our bassist, and so he can join as well. And but we're all, we're all living in the town. We're all, friends, really good friends, and known each other for like over 20 years at the least. We've been jamming and kind of have grown together musically to produce, good music and better music as time, passes, and also to be able to experiment with different styles, and so we've hence the fusion aspect, right? And just like what we did on the Bed of Roses, where we took a Bon Jovi number and we added the Eastern flair to it at tabla, sitar, flute, right? And we do that frequently with a lot of our songs add a fusion element to it. So anyways, so that's kind of like minds trying to experiment. So we got together and we, in fact, we had a rehearsal last night for a gig.
Nice.
And, so.
How long you guys been together now?
Well, we've been together, not all 7 of us at the same time, the whole time, but I think us right here, I shouldn't Rahim. I don't know what Rahim, like what, 20 years or what, 25? What?
Too long. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Because I've known Tanvir like right out of college, or sorry, when I was in college, which was I don't know, like 15 years ago. So it's it's been quite a journey since then. So.
That is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna pinpoint a few geeky questions. So I'm gonna start with Ashwin first. I'm gonna ask you, who is your favorite superhero?
Who's my favorite superhero? So this may be kind of a risky answer, but I love Superman. Growing up as a kid, I've always been a big fan of Superman, and I think probably the equivalent to me in the Marvel universe would be Captain America, because he is, he's just all about doing the right thing. He's always, he's a nice guy, and he just always wants to do the right thing. It's sometimes the hardest thing, but he's just, he has to do the right thing. And I think that really resonates with me as a person. So
Nice. It's a good choice. Good choice. It's not risky. The Brothers Geek Out podcast invites all. But Captain America shouldn't be called Captain America. I think he should be called Captain World because his morals are great. And again, he's like one of my brother's favorite characters as well. But he doesn't see him as just the one nation guy. He sees it as a worldwide sort of person.
Absolutely.
Raheem, who's your favorite?
I got to go with Spider-Man.
Has that always been the way?
It's always been the way, especially since they keep redoing those not same three, but the story over and over again, right? The requirements. So you never get enough of it. They keep redoing it. They keep changing it up. It keeps it interesting. I enjoy it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tanvir, come on, tell us. I'm saying it properly, hopefully.
Yeah, it's all good. Any variation, I'll know you're talking to me. But this is gonna sound maybe I don't know if this sounds warped, but my favorite has been the Hulk, and and mainly because I act like him. I don't know. When it's I have moments where I'm just a cool guy. But my kids can vouch for this. Is when I get a little bit on the tense side, right? I will become the Hulk sometimes, and actually more so I've liked him more recently because on our social media messaging, I've had numerous folks that say, and I don't know if this is true, maybe you can just let me know. They say I sometimes at angles resemble Mark Ruffalo. So I don't know.
It's a great compliment, dude. Absolutely.
I know.
I can see it. I can see it. I feel like he's got a bit of South Asian in him. That's why it helps us brothers out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So with your journey so far, guys, and like with the amazing part of joining on episode 3 of Miss Marvel, that must have been mind blowing for you guys. I'll start off with Tanvir again, and then we'll go through the rest of the guys.
Oh, sure. Of course, it was just amazing. I mean, they were looking for a band for the episode. That was part of the script, and somebody told somebody, and they were looking for somebody local that they didn't have to fly in, and they found us. In fact, interestingly, they were actually looking initially for just a bunch of guys that they could, simulate a band because
wow.
And they wanted, but they were concerned because they were really looking. I mean, that was their backup plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find, right? Because the casting folks had a time schedule to meet to be able to cast these people, right? From as the requirements came in from production, and so when they found out that we were a real band, they were like, "Oh, this is amazing!" Because they were they didn't want to have to teach us how to hold stuff and whatnot, right? And so. But the actual filming is, and the how grand it was. It's the first time I've experienced that, and I think the first time many of us have experienced that. We've been in, smaller, events where they've had cameras and cranes going and things like that. Private events, but not from this angle. Sure. It's just, and just watching it happen. And Ashwin and Raheem, if you remember, the most beautiful thing that happened when we got on set and we were standing on that stage is that Sana Amanat came to us, okay? And she was super sweet. She's like, "Thank you so much for doing this." Oh. And I'm like, this is Sana Amanat. This is like the real, she's telling us thank you for, when she, of course, she realized we were a band and by that time she had our recording as well. And, she was so appreciative. And then Mira, who's the director of that episode, equally, she came up, she's like, "Thank you so much." And just very down to earth and like the sweetest folks. I mean, Raheem, Ashwin?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to echo your points, sometimes we think, we're shooting something and like you have all these people there and it's like kind of intimidating, but literally everybody is so nice. And to echo Thunder's points, like, yeah, the director came to us and, she was like, "Thank you so much for doing this." And even right as I think when we initially entered the stage, what's his name? Mohan Kapoor. So he plays Kamala's dad. He saw us and he was like, "Oh my God, here's the band." He was so like, I think he was more excited than we were. And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're
brilliant."
Excited. So that, I think just feeding off that energy and just doing so many different takes. Like, I mean, it was just a complete blast,
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
Definitely same here. I mean, for me, the biggest eye opener was the amount of time and that the actors have to put in to do the same scene over and over and over again. I mean, this was my first time seeing this happen. So
Yeah.
this was one of the first things when I was like, whoa, I mean, they're really dedicated. It's a tough job. But like they mentioned, I mean, the crew was incredible. They basically, even when Tanvir was saying his line to introduce the group, I mean, it's not like it was scripted where they said say these exact words.
Mm.
They left it up to him. Say whatever feels right. You know, you're a band. You introduced yourself many times. Go for it. I mean, so it was awesome that they were so accommodating to us as well. And it was the highlight for me was when the song was playing, there was a Bhangra song happening before or after, and the villains had just come in. So there was one lady who was pissed off. She was in. She had her game face on. She was pissed off. The second the director said cut, I mean, she was dancing. She was running around. She was dancing, and it was just awesome just to see the switch that these actors go through. You know, when the director says okay, action. I mean, it's just amazing. It was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah. And you know, there's scenes that were filmed that never made it right to the real. And so we did. There's one scene. So what? And are you okay? I know you're going to ask some questions, but RK is talking.
No, of course, go for it.
So it's hilarious because initially what they were planning was the crane comes in and they have the scene of the wedding going on, right? So everybody kind of chilling, everybody doing their own thing, right? And so as the camera comes in, the idea was we have our Sanchit on our bassist. He's out there with a plate of samosas, right? And he picks up a plate of samosas and they see him walking and he walks up on stage and we're like, hey man, we give him a high five. He's like, come on, and he comes on the stage and we're all kind of chit chatting, like we're greeting him as he's coming on, and so of course that cuts. And poor Sanchit had to go grab that plate of samosas about 20 times. He had to walk. No, he was carrying his bass too, right? He's carrying his bass and a plate of samosas on the other hand, and he had to go all the way back to the front, this other side of the room, and he said, "Start again." And he grabbed his plate of samosas and walked up. And we're like casually standing up on stage while he is
up and down.
He's up and down doing his thing.
But we helped him out though. When he got on stage, we took that plate of samosas from him. Sure.
Yeah, we couldn't eat those because it was all. I mean, the entire buffet was beautiful. It was real food, but they had sprayed it and preserved it, right? So it lasted for a few days. But I mean, every little nuance, every little detail of that ballroom was of course, Marvel/Disney. I mean, just to their detail that they put in, right? And even like what you said, Raheem, is the dancers, right? The Bollywood dancers cut, and then even Matt, who plays Bruno, just getting the dance steps, and the parents of the bride trying to get those dance steps in for Ye Mera Dil. Then you cut it, and they're still smiling, right? And they're like exhausted, and then as soon as they say action, they're smiling again. Everybody's just as energetic and over again, and where you can see us on the side standing on stage clapping to the dances, and we stop, cut. And of course, cut was during that time. Cut meant masks on.
Oh right? Yes, that's right, because it was during COVID times. Yes,
COVID. So
wow,
that made it harder because we were gonna get in our original song. We have the flute and sitar. I mean, it's not a real sitar in the actual Bed of Roses version, but we wanted to. Sana mentioned she wanted to have these additional instrumentalists on stage just for that look, also just for the. But because of COVID, we needed 3 days of for 3 days prior to do a testing.
That's right.
And get the result and then show up and be able to be allowed on set.
Well, that must have been quite hard on quite a lot of people during that time because working on a production that big, that must have been hard. That must have been very hard. My next question. Sorry. Go.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in.
Yeah.
So Tanvir, if I remember correctly, like outside of us and the dancers, I think probably like the production crew was, I don't know, maybe like 50 people there, like in that space.
Wow.
So it was pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
We had a bunch of different, like, just crew there operating the cameras and the cranes. And it was just, I mean, it was a lot of people.
Well, yeah, majority of, actually, I would probably say there were probably more. And because I remember the ballroom right next door. So we were in the main ballroom, and then the one next door is where they had all the back end, all the machineries and where they would take the cranes in. And all the mixers and amplifiers and everything that they had going in, the wireless headsets, and that was in a ballroom right next door.
Yeah.
In fact, that's where the lead actors were hanging out. And so, initially, we were I wasn't supposed to have lines initially, so
Mm.
they added that later. And when I wasn't supposed to, when I didn't have lines, I wasn't considered, part of SAG, and which is the Screen Actors Guild, and we were actually hanging out with more of the extras, and
Yeah.
so and the background folks. And then as soon as I got lines, and I want to apologize again to my bandmates, is that so they had to still hang out where the extras were, but I was able to hang out, where I was talking to Zenobia, I was talking to Iman back
Oh
there, and
man.
Yeah,
and
he totally ditched us.
and then I was allowed to have my phone, because otherwise you have to put your phone in a lock, and you can't open that lock. They
Yeah.
can only open it with a special key, and no phones were allowed, and no pictures and whatnot. But if you're with the real deal, then you could I still didn't take my phone out because I was shit scared. So,
No, it's all right. It's okay. It's fine. We have swearing on the podcast, which is fine. And everybody's over 18 that listens, hopefully. But to be honest now, because like I was going on to the next question, because for me, I've been a comic book fan since the 90s. I was born in the 80s, 90s. I've been stuck with comic books ever since. My uncle was an artist and inspired me into these characters and into these amazing universes. And only, I think, in the late sort of 90s, we had like South Asian representation in the comic books. So, different superheroes having different powers. Early 2000s, when Sana introduced Miss Marvel, it was quite a big thing for me personally, because now being a father, was that my little girl has some sort of representation in the comic books, but on the screen as well.
Yeah.
But for you guys, because now you guys are officially part of the MCU, like what's that like? Like you're in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk the whole time, but anybody?
Ashwin, go for it.
Okay, I'll go for it. No, I think for me, I mean, just of course, seeing myself on the screen is awesome, but to your point, the fact that we have, like a Desi, South Asian superhero, like that is incredible. Like, I mean, there have been so many times where I've seen just so many movies and things like that, where it's like, it'd be nice if somebody looks like me up there, and now with this, with this show, it's like here you have Miss Marvel, and you just feel, I don't know. When I was watching it, I just felt like so at home, and just some of the comments they made, some of the discussions, like they were talking about Shah Rukh Khan movies, and things like that. Like I love that. Like that just makes me feel so good. It's like, wow, they're talking about things that like I've grown up with and I've watched, and like I can relate to that. So that was super cool for me.
Very well thought out. And the thing is, it's not just, I think in the past, anytime there's been even Indian actors or Pakistani actors on screen, whether it's Kamal or any of the main actors, the representation is nowhere near this movie. And the comments they make, the the aunties, and my daughter was actually in the Eid scene as well. She was the Snapchat girl, what they call the one of my daughter was, when they were taking the pictures, the selfies.
Yeah.
She was there, and then my little girl was the which I was kind of iffy about, because initially they called them the mean girls, but on the movie they called them harami girls, and they're running away. I was like, dang, my daughter's a harami girl. And so, but what, just the topics, just the way they portrayed it, just the mannerisms. I mean, it's a totally different kind of representation, because I mean, about who is that boy, and these kind of things, right? Is we see that in our household.
We do.
I see that. I grew up with that, right? I grew up with the auntie coming in saying, "Oh, she will never get married," But the thing is, in the past, if there was an auntie saying she will never get married, and that was in a mainstream American show, that humor or that comment may not click this. It wouldn't jive. It just be, nobody would really interpret it the same way. And I think what's happening is, okay, yesterday I went to I got my hair cut, and so the owner of the salon, he's got a lot of followers, and many thousand followers and stuff, and he's half Pakistani, which I only knew yesterday actually, and but you can't tell. And he was just talking to one of his customers about Miss Marvel, and I was like, so I said, hey, do you remember Brown Jovi on excuse me, on episode 3? It's like, yeah, oh my god, that was hilarious. And I'm like, right, and right, and so he's like, but I was sitting there with wet hair, and people don't, it's not that we got hours and hours of screen time, right? In fact, they actually filmed the entire video, and they're slow dancing, and it's beautifully how they did, and the crane came up and everything. But they edited all that out, which is fine. There was a lot happening in that episode. But just from that, the guy was saying how he was so happy to see, because he grew up, he was, he's half Pakistani, but he grew up with his mom. And so he was, he was not too close to that culture. He doesn't speak the language or anything, but he did say Pakistani, which was, I'm like, you got to have something in you to say Pakistani rather than, hey, I'm Pakistani, right? Right? And, or Karachi, right? To be able to, do that. And he was saying how he just loved how everything was portrayed, and just even the partition scene, and the pathos that was portrayed with the artist, behind that, and everything was just done so nicely and very, very intelligently portrayed.
No, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Raheem, what was your thoughts? Because you're part of the MCU. What was it like for you?
Yeah, no, so like Tanvir was saying, right? I mean, we recorded a lot more that we were hoping would have made it, but even the little amount of screen time that we did get, I have a nephew in Dubai who said, "Oh, my friend wants your autograph," and I'm like, "Wow, that is awesome!" I mean, and then even in my local community here, folks I haven't spoken to in forever, they were like, "Oh, weren't you in Miss Marvel?" I mean, so as Tanvir was saying, it's a show that really resonates with a lot of the South Asian community, not just here but around the world. I mean, you got Fawad Khan in there, right? I mean, we were in the same team as Fawad Khan, which is a big deal for me. My family, here I am in the same series. Maybe to be in the same episode as him, but it was still pretty cool. And as Tanvir was saying, like Mohin Kapoor and Zenobia, I mean, the parents did an incredible job to make it relatable to how things are. Sorry. And so it was an awesome. Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, Raheem, I thought that was your ringtone.
No, mine is living on a prayer, of course, right?
Living on a, that's right.
Apologies, guys. Apologies.
That's all right. It's all good.
I feel like when you say some parts get edited out, I'm hoping that's not one of them.
No, we keep it in there. That's one good thing about the podcast and the people that listen to the podcast is it's freestyle. We don't edit. We keep everything in there. They know I'm a family man. I am working as we are talking as well, so multitasking to an extreme, but it's kind of like inspiring because some of the people that do follow us on the channels is, young Muslims, young South Asians, trying to find their way into the industry. And like, I feel with some of the guests that we speak to and having you guys on this is just absolutely amazing because it just shows to them that you can have that break. You can do what the things you love doing. It's how long you've been doing it for. And as you guys said, almost 20 years, you guys have been together as a band. That's inspiring in itself. But with the geek culture as well, I mean, for me, it's amazing.
And this has opened a lot of doors for us. And so although we've been, together, we've performed, but just this and the recognition and just people on social media. I mean, there was a hashtag. I don't know if it's still there, but initially there was like a "Justice for Brown Jovi" tag that was going around because people and even till today, people are commenting saying, Marvel didn't deliver on Brown Jovi. They said they would, right? And so I'm actually, I was gonna process of just compiling those because there's so many tweets or people saying, we wanted to hear Brown Jovi, right? And so and of course, you can't when it goes to the cutting board, you have no control over that. They're gonna do whatever.
Of course,
smart.
That's right.
And we have no complaints over that. But just being in the universe, right, and getting the recognition and people actually realizing that we're actually a real band. Because initially they just thought it was something funny that Marvel was doing, right? And so that is just people have been very surprised about, like, oh my God, and they're trying to follow us. And we also have, let's just say we weren't big on social media prior to this. Okay, we're just kind of, riding the wave on, for musically, and I mean I shouldn't got a bunch of followers and stuff, but ever since Brown Jovi came to us and this episode and this we've gotten a lot of attention, and so we've created more presence on social media, on various platforms, and trying to get our, I did some TikToks and just trying to get our are not just the name out there, but folks to recognize. Now, having said that, I'm probably not posting as much as I should, but again, just like you, man, it's like you got other stuff to do as well. Okay, well, my daughter's telling me, Dad, you have to post 3 times a day. I said, are you freaking kidding me? 3 times a day?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So I'm in marketing. So that's my 9 to 5 job. I'm a comic book illustrator myself.
Cool.
Are you really? Wow.
Yeah, so I've been doing comic book artwork for about 20 years now. It's been more independent comic books, so working with South Asian characters and creators as well. So I'm working on a project on another one, which is for my daughter, so that I can leave something behind for her. Because at the end of the day, we want to leave our legacy behind. Yeah. But it was just getting yourself out there and being in marketing. She's right. You got to do it 3 times a day, dude. So you got to pick one day in the week, do all the content, and then at least you can spread it across the month. But in one day, try and do as much as you can. And it will help. But I'm glad that you guys have started to put the stuff out there, because the honest truth is, social media is so powerful now. It has its downsides. Definitely has its downsides if it's not looked after. It's a drug as it is. But for exposure, for people getting to see it. And it's the same thing. Like, I'd be posting this for a month with clips of you guys, so you guys don't worry, I'll be doing half the job for you guys.
I'm a hermit, so before this thing came out, then there's like, Raheem, you might want to open up a Facebook account. And I had stayed away, and I finally did that, and now we have a fan base on the MCU. Like, we have, each of us has our own fan base. It's pretty cool. A fan page on the web. It's pretty cool.
That's absolutely amazing.
Denver always had its Hulk page, but now you guys
I bet you related really well to that scene where the dad came out in the Shawani. Oh my God.
That was like classic. Just that, right? Just that. He's doing this for his daughter, and he dressed up like that, and he's doing, it's just, you know what the thing is, Mohan Kapoor, he's just,
he was brilliant.
Funny thing was we were on there, and I'd kind of seen him, but it didn't really click to me. And now he's been on
massive amount of stuff.
Massive amounts of stuff. Yeah. So, hold on just 1 second. I'm going to just plug in my laptop real quick. Just 1 second. Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. That's all right. That's him.
I got a battery signal coming up.
So danger zone. The danger zone. Yeah. It happens. Don't worry, because luckily I pressed record this time. Many a times I've had to ask guests to come back on because I got so into the conversation that I forgot to press the record button. So embarrassing. But it has happened. But lovely.
I see it recording, yeah. So, what I was saying is Gurinder, who's our guitarist, and he wasn't able to make it out of a work meeting this morning, but
that's all right.
So, he says to Mohan Kapoor, I've seen you somewhere. And he's like,
he said that to Gurinder too, didn't he? Huh? He said that back to Gurinder too, didn't he?
I think so. I don't know.
Gurinder has been waiting for a reason to submit his resignation. I know, his boss might see this, but he's been waiting. This was his big moment.
Oh, bless. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Kibla, there's one scene where there was one scene where when they finish the dancing, right, and they have the cheer, yay, and then we are brown Jovi, right? And we say that, right? Well, they did that so many times, and there was not, for me, there wasn't a very clear distinction of when I'm supposed to start. But my line, they're dependent. They have to do all this big round of, and the last part of the dancing and the hooray, and then I come on, right? So if I don't do it correctly, they have to do that take over again, right? So
that's right.
And so, which at one point, they did it, and I'm like, I'm standing there, and I look straight at Iman. She's like now, I'm like, jeez, okay. I'm like standing there with a blank face, waiting. Like, when am I supposed to come on?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. All right, so guys, as I said, I'm not going to keep you on too long. I know you guys have got to start off your day, but I just want to ask each of you, what something inspiring that keeps you going that you can share with the listeners. Let's start off with Raheem first.
Something inspiring. Well, there's just so much to challenge yourself with and learn every day. I mean, life is a struggle. I know that's a cliche, but there's just so much it throws at you, and it's just fun to be able to deal with it head on, come up with a solution, and just keep at it. And music is one of those areas for me where it's a never-ending learning experience. I'm with other like-minded folks in Atlanta who share the same passion, and it's just been a fun journey so far.
Oh, that's amazing. Ashwin?
Yeah, I think something is inspiring for me is, every day is a new day. So it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what happened, a couple of days before. Just today's a new clean slate. Just start it fresh and just take the day by storm. I'm happy to be alive. I'm healthy. I'm safe. So just today's a new day. So let's just conquer it. So
awesome.
Yep.
Tanvir.
So I mean, it's a very huge question, right? And if I had to, so I would probably say definitely. Are you talking about on a day-to-day basis? Day-to-day basis. Let me tell you, and I don't want to get too into this, but I have a daughter that's a special needs daughter, and so, but looking at what we don't see every day are the little things. Right. Mm-hmm. And we oversee that, and you were just so used to our day to day, we don't see the little things. When my daughter, and she's vision impaired, when she said, I can see the moon, right? Because it was so big and bright, and she has a little bit of vision, and we're like, oh my God. And we see the moon every day, but for her to be able to see the moon, and so those are the little things that we just take for granted, and we just and I think we get caught up in that, and even when it comes to when we go back to tie that back to Miss Marvel and the Muslim topic of that and also being Pakistani and just the stereotype that exists surrounding that here and how that is broken. People are just so caught up into bashing each other or saying something, especially social media. Those things are just so irrelevant when you actually look at the really beautiful things every day around you. And you live positively then. You look at that. Even for me, a smile is worth so much more than anything. In a day, my daughter was like, why'd you smile at her? That's so creepy. Or something. And my 14-year-old was like, why you smile? I said, guess what? That smile I just gave her and she smiled back. I said, what if she's having a horrible day, right? And something's going, you never know. It's like that just, that just brightened her day. I said, it doesn't cost me anything. So I have a different angle looking at it, but don't want to get too philosophical because as a rock star, it's like
No, it's great. It's absolutely great. It's inspiring, dude. It's definitely
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the heart. So
yeah. Back in high school, there was a girl from Russia. Her name was Allah, and since then I was trying to hook Allah up with Tanvir just so Tanvir could, and his last name is Mia. So her name would be Allah Mia. So I've been trying to get Allah Mia in Tanvir's life for a long, long time now. So he's always there with her.
Ya Allah.
Brilliant. Ya Allah. Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Guys, this is plug-in time. Where can everybody find you? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Let it
Everywhere.
out now.
All of the above.
All of the above, yeah. Guys, make sure you guys check it out. I'll have all of their links in the description below. Go follow these guys. They're absolutely amazing and inspirational and part of the MCU. Oh my God, I'm so excited because I get to speak to people from the MCU. That's amazing. That's for me. God. That's over the moon. Like as you can see.
Lucky man for sure.
Yes, definitely. I'm an Iron Man fan. It started from the beginning and it's like, oh my God, I'm talking to people from the MCU universe. That's amazing.
Well, we've seen your work too, by the way. So
thank you.
We're just as elated talking to you. We've
Thank
seen
you.
what you've done.
Absolutely.
And we've seen the folks that, your credentials are phenomenal. So thank you for having us and giving us this platform to be able to, share our experiences and such a casual, comfortable setting. We appreciate that, man.
No, you're welcome, guys. You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. All right, guys, as I said, make sure you check the description in the description below and go follow these guys. But I want to say a massive thank you to all you listeners. You guys are absolutely amazing. Click like, subscribe, share, comment, message us, let us know your thoughts on the episode. If there's any questions that you can send to me, I can send to the guys. So guys, massive thank you for the support on the channel. And guys, it was just wonderful to meet all of you guys. Keep up the great work that you do. And thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Brown Jovi.
Awesome. Brown Jovi. Awesome. Take care, guys.